Hey guys, welcome to The Daily Athlete. This is episode number 15. Today we're going to talk about using your technique from lifting in day-to-day life, so while you're at work. So most of us, as much as we would like to be training all day, riding our bike all day, lifting weights all day, whatever your particular sport is, as much as we would love to be doing that all day, most of us do have jobs and we have something else that takes up majority of our time during the day, which isn't training. So what we need to do is we need to try and optimize the amount of time that we spend at work or spend during the day, whatever we may be doing, actually implementing the stuff that we learn at training. So I'm assuming that most of you were involved in strength and conditioning or some type of fitness training or sport, so we're fairly active. So in terms of weightlifting, training, body weight training, gymnastics, whatever type of training you do, we need to try and implement those movements into our day-to-day life. So, for example, if you work in retail and you are stacking shelves, maybe you do night shift, maybe you work at a hardware store during the day like I did back in the day, what we need to do is utilize our movement during the day to reflect the stuff that we do at training. So, if we're stacking the bottom shelf with boxes, heavy stuff, a few noisy cars coming past today, if we're stacking the bottom shelves with heavy stuff, what we need to do then, instead of bending over, instead of kneeling, go into a squat, to spend a little bit of time in the squat. If we're putting things overhead, practice keeping your core tight, keeping your shoulder blades together, keeping everything as you would when you're training, when you're at work, when you're putting heavy things overhead, okay? Same as when you're walking, you're sitting and you're standing. So if you're standing for a lot of the day, maybe you work at a checkout, maybe you have a trade, working on keeping your core tight, bloody buses. Maybe you're working on keeping your core tight, keeping your shoulder blades pulled back and down and keeping everything tight while you're standing to people. Maybe it's focusing on keeping your feet nice and straight. So when you go to squat at the end of the day, you're already in that habit of having your feet straight and not having them splayed out like a duck. So that's one of the things there. If you work in an office and you're sitting down for most of the day, that is the perfect opportunity for working on core strength and working on keeping your back straight. So if we can spend 8, 10, 12 hours a day at work trying to keep that spine nice and straight, then what happens when we go to training? We need to deadlift, do cleans, do snatches, do squats, whatever type of lifting or whatever type of training you're doing. Maybe you're on the rower, maybe you're on the exercise bike a little bit. In terms of keeping that core tight, we've already built up 8, 10, 12 hours of trying to keep that tight all day. So when we go to train for 1 hour at the end of the day, or 2 hours, 3 hours, however long we're training for, we've already got into a habit and built that motor pattern of keeping our core tight, keeping our spine tight, and working on it. So now we've accumulated 8 hours a day, every day for 5 days. So that's 40 hours a week of keeping our core tight and bracing, rather than just relying on our training sessions to brace, which might be an hour a day, 5 days a week, so 5 hours. So we've got 8 times the amount of practice there. So imagine what's going to happen to your training when we have 8 times the amount of practice on keeping our body stable and learning how to move. Okay, so all about trying to optimize what we're doing at work to help with our training, trying not to add too many extra exercises into the mix that are going to, 1, probably be boring, and 2, take up a lot of time that you probably spend doing else. Try and maximize the amount of time that you're doing the exercise at the gym. Try and do something at work that's going to help with that. So you're pretty much getting paid to train. So every person's dream. So have a great day. Implement that into your work today, tomorrow, over the next few days, and comment below if you have any dramas or any questions at all. So have a great day.